been in this sport for a while. Now he's fighting as a top contender. I'm a champion. Now it's just up to me to defend my titles. I think he's no pushover. He's there for a reason. He's top contender for a reason, and we plan to show everybody.
Sebastian Fundora strongly rejected the claim that he has been avoiding Jaron Ennis and stated that his team has never received any official offer for the fight. Speaking to Boxing Scene today, Robert Garcia, who trains Ennis rival Virgil Ortiz Jr., named Fundora as a serious backup choice if the long-awaited Ortiz fight fails to happen. Garcia made it clear that his team would gladly take the Fundora matchup, while noting that Fundora, just like Ortiz, currently holds a legitimate world championship title.
Or Fundora don't happen, well then we got to move on and continue fighting and keep them busy and continue doing our thing. But no, we won those fights. It doesn't matter, obviously Boots is our main fight right there. That's the one we want, and that's the one we already agreed to. And on our side, it's a done deal. But if not, then we're gonna try to push for Fundora. The WBC could force that fight because we are the interim champions, and Fundora is the WBC champion. So it's a fight that should have.
Garcia also explained that the WBC could have an important role in getting the fight made because Ortiz holds the interim championship while Fundora is the full title holder. From his perspective, this is a fight that should already be taking place. Meanwhile, respected trainer Brian Bomac McIntyre called the 154-pound division one of boxing's deepest and most unpredictable weight classes while pointing to names like Jaron Ennis, Virgil Ortiz Jr. and Sebastian Fundora. McIntyre believes almost every elite matchup in the division could honestly go either way. He even compared the current group of talented fighters to boxing's famous Four Kings era and praised today's top names for being willing to face one another.
I think he have to. I mean, he's a great fighter. He could start his own era like what he's doing now, but he got a lot of guys he got to compete with, like Shakur. He got Inoue. Those guys are young and still fighting. So yeah. I ain't gonna really call it the Boots era, but I just think he's a great fighter in the era with other guys that can say this was my era.
Mm-hmm. With that, I know like there's the Fundoras and Virgils, like they all have to fight each other so you can come to that conclusion. I mean, is that amongst those guys, is there someone stand out a little bit more, or is it still kind of 50-50 across?
I think it's a 50-50 across the board, because when you look at Virgil and when he get guys hurt, like maybe Boots was hurt, he finished them off. You look at Fundora with range and the height he got, even though he'd been beat before, since then he's just been cleaning them up. And so we all waiting to see, when those two or three, like the Four Kings, when they tangle. So
Eddie Hearn, who promotes Ennis, expressed a similar opinion while discussing what could happen next after defeating Xander Zayas. Hearn confirmed that several options are currently being considered, including Josh Kelly, Virgil Ortiz, and Sebastian Fundora. However, he stressed that any Fundora negotiation, just like an Ortiz deal, must now recognize Ennis as a unified champion. The financial and contractual terms that were discussed before his latest victory can no longer be used as the starting point.
And by all my comments previously, it is one of the very best fights in the sport. Boots will take it like that. But I have to go and present an offer to Jaron Ennis. And I can do that by having a chat and seeing the numbers. But if you're like, it's always, make the fight, Eddie. It's like, make the offer. Right? So, Golden Boy, the Zone, if you want to challenge the champ, make the offer to the champ. If not, we'll sit down and we'll tell you what you're getting for the fight, and then we'll work with Golden Boy or co-promote, no problem. But respect what he's done, respect the situation, and respect that today's price is not.
Speaking on the Porter Way podcast, Sean Porter praised the progress he has noticed in Fundora, especially after the towering southpaw beat Keith Thurman. Porter said that performance showed Fundora is finally learning to make full use of his unusual height and reach, rather than simply relying on those natural physical advantages.
Keith Thurman, that last fight, it showed me that like he really is embracing his size now. The reach.
Experience now.
Yeah.
He getting that experience. They let him get it.
And he took some big shots too. that chin, like he got the knockout, the one knockout that he had.
Brian Mendoza.
Yeah. I'm sorry, my daughter keep calling me.
You good?
Yeah. So and then Keith Thurman is a big puncher, and he took some shots, and he just fought on the outside. He just made it look easy. I think that the way he's fighting right now.
Porter explained that Fundora managed to absorb some of Thurman's strongest punches while still controlling the fight with his long frame. In his view, Fundora has become a far more dangerous fighter than he was earlier in his career. Although the discussion focused mainly on a possible Ennis versus Ortiz fight, it also explained why Fundora is getting so much attention. Porter and his co-host saw Fundora, Ortiz, and Ennis as true 50-50 elite fighters at 154 pounds, with each one waiting for the biggest names in the division to finally face each other.
Ortiz or Fundora?
Call me crazy and saying all that. Number one, they have the game plan, but I still think that talent is so superior. Like he said, it's a, and I know this from my own experience. It's a different speed on the outside than when you actually get in the ring and do it. I was one of those guys that everybody felt like they could game plan for me, but they didn't understand how quick I actually was. They didn't understand how explosive I actually was able to get my way with just about everybody I was in the ring with, because on the outside looking in, it's just a little bit different, So I still think he beats Fundora.
On a recent episode of the Angry Man podcast, Greg suggested that Fundora's camp may have started considering the Ennis matchup after seeing Ennis struggle during the third round against Zayas. He believed Fundora's team might have seen those moments as an opening, especially before Ennis had the opportunity to fix those weaknesses and become even stronger.
It relates to wanting to unify the division and feeling he's the best and willing to face and fight anybody.
Yeah, it depends on, who sent the offer.
Who cares?
The reason I say that because Fundora's team they said they'd fight anyone, but now...
Greg also said Josh Kelly appeared to be the more natural next opponent for Ennis because they share the same promotional connection, provided Kelly first gets past his upcoming fight. Still, he made it clear that he would have no issue with Fundora becoming the selected opponent if negotiations eventually move in that direction.
Let's get in there real fast, but I like it. I really do like it. I don't know if it's going to come into fruition. I thought Josh Kelly would probably be their quicker route, since that'll be an in-house fight as long as Josh Kelly takes.
Greg then highlighted the unusual situation in the rankings and noted that Ring Magazine has Virgil Ortiz Jr. ranked number 1, even though Ortiz does not hold a world title in the division. The discussion then moved to Fundora's incredible physical size. Standing around 6 feet 7 inches with a massive reach close to 90 inches, Fundora presents a challenge unlike almost anyone he has faced.
Fundora's one of the best at 154. For some reason, they got Cho Boy at number 1 at 154 when he hasn't got a belt there, but it is what it is with Virgil being number 1 at 154, I think, according to Ring Magazine, whatever. But yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup. The styles makes fight is big, as we see in this matchup here. Fundora's 6'7", got a 90,000 reach.
Greg warned that any defensive mistakes or brief moments of poor focus from Ennis could prove very costly against someone with Fundora's size. His huge reach combined with his physical advantages and unpredictable style could turn even minor errors into serious problems for Ennis during the fight.
This will be a big test, a biggest test for Boots of his career, of course, if he were to fight Fundora. All that focus, lack of focus, that bet not happen here. He gonna be sleep.
Jason agreed with part of that assessment, but stressed one principle he has always believed in. Styles decide fights. He rejected the idea that having more physical or technical tools automatically guarantees victory. Jason argued that Ennis already possesses the skills and style needed to create major problems for Fundora. At the same time, Fundora has shown weaknesses in recent performances that he still needs to correct.
I think, and I'm so big on styles make fights, right? I think a lot of these young whippersnappers, some of these young punks, specifically those young punks that are in our Discord, believe that, simply put, if you have more tools in your toolbox than your opponent, you always win. It's not right. Stylistically, styles can make fights. And I think from a stylistic standpoint, I think Boots has demonstrated that there are things that he can do in the ring that would give Fundora problems.
Well, absolutely.
And I still don't think Fundora has necessarily showed me that he has closed those vulnerabilities, or at least
Former world champion Chris Algieri believes the 154 pounds division has become one of boxing's most dangerous weight classes, with several elite fighters capable of beating each other on any given night. While reviewing the current division, Algieri described junior middleweight as a highly competitive group filled with top-level talent and named Jaron Ennis, Sebastian Fundora, Virgil Ortiz Jr. and Josh Kelly among the main names. He explained that every fighter brings a different style and different challenges, which makes nearly every major matchup extremely difficult to predict.
Virgil, that Fundora actually is the final boss at 154. What would you like to see Boots fight first? Would you like to see him go up against Fundora first, or Virgil, considering?
To be fully transparent, Virgil's my guy.
Okay.
Again, Virgil's my guy. I've known Robert Garcia a long time. He's been telling me about him for a long time. And I know Virgil. I like Virgil. So it'd be hard to be unbiased. But Fundora is such a difficult puzzle. He's so long, and he's getting better. He's improving. He's improving. He's learning how to use his size. He's using his jab. He's being more disciplined. He's not taking risks like he used to. Talk about a guy who used to allow people to hit him, and then has figured out that you shouldn't do that at the highest level in that Brian Mendoza fight. But since then, he's been very, very good. So yeah, I can understand why people would see him as the final guy, because again, with those physical advantages and the way that he's getting better, very, very difficult to deal with. Virgil, the inactivity really worries me, because you got sharks circling. And Jaron, with the level of talent he has, he can beat anybody.
Algieri gave special attention to WBC champion Sebastian Fundora. He described the unusually tall southpaw as one of the hardest opponents in boxing to prepare for. Fundora's extreme height, huge reach, and unorthodox approach create a difficult challenge, forcing opponents to prepare for dimensions and angles they rarely.
It's Josh Kelly, Fundora, Virgil. From the bottom to the top, how would you go?
Can't do it. Can't do it. Because it's one of those fights, this is one of those divisions where, again, if they all fight each other, I don't think anybody stays undefeated. So even trying to rank people, just because they're all so different. You know, you got Boots, who's a fluid, side-switching, counter-punching, killer puncher. You got Virgil, who's a two-fisted destroyer, comes to get you. Fundora is the towering inferno. He's 6'9" or however tall he is. You got Josh Kelly, who's a slippery guy. So you've got a lot of different.
Jaron Ennis has made his goal completely clear. He wants to become the undisputed champion at 154 pounds. Rather than choosing easier opportunities or focusing only on money, he says he wants the biggest challenges available. He has specifically named unified champion Sebastian Fundora and British contender Josh Kelly as opponents he would be ready to face next. His ultimate goal remains winning every major belt in the division.
I'm gonna be, the sharper I'm gonna be. So, I'm here to, collect these belts, and I want to be undisputed at 154, and I will be undisputed at 154. I ain't get to do it at 47. So, the next best thing is Fundora or Kelly. And I feel like everybody want to see me and Fundora.
Virgil Ortiz Jr. has shown a very similar mindset. Ortiz says he is not interested in protecting his record by selecting easy opponents. He wants to test himself against the strongest fighters available. Ennis and unified champion Sebastian Fundora are among the names Ortiz has identified as preferred opponents because he believes defeating elite competition is what will ultimately define his legacy.
You are still a star. What do you want to do next?
Man, I just want the best fights, no matter who it is. Jaron Ennis, Fundora, anyone with the belt. There's really not anyone in the top 10 that I haven't fought or that I haven't tried to fight. At this point, people just need to take the fights, and a lot of people want to say, how come you haven't tried this route, just because I'm not calling people out on social media like everyone else does, doesn't mean I'm telling my manager, hey, let's make this fight. That doesn't mean I'm not talking to the WBC like, hey, how come we haven't made this fight happen yet? You know what I mean? Like, we've done our part, I'm not a very vocal guy. Well, I'm starting to be.
When discussing the toughest opponents in the division, he admitted that he sees Sebastian Fundora as a more difficult challenge than Virgil Ortiz Jr. Boots respects Ortiz's abilities, but believes Ortiz's direct and aggressive style could actually play into his hands. Fundora is different. His incredible height, reach, and awkward movement create a completely different type of challenge, which is exactly why Ennis seems so determined to defeat him on his journey toward becoming undisputed.
Would you consider Fundora and, Ortiz same level as Zayas, or do you think they're a step up?
To be honest, I think Zayas got a little bit more game to him than Virgil. You know what you get from Virgil. Virgil straight up and down. He gonna try to walk you down, and y'all know. Come on now, you can't just walk to me because I got heat. I got heat for you. So, and I think that makes like people gonna say it's a tailor-made fight for me. You know, I feel like fighting a guy like Fundora.
When asked about the long-awaited fight with Ennis, Ortiz insisted that he has repeatedly told his team to move ahead with the matchup. He made it clear that the delay has not come from his side and that he has been willing to accept the fight. Ortiz says he remains ready and will step forward whenever the opportunity finally becomes official.
Give him the green light. You know, it's only been one-sided green lights coming from out over here. The reason that the fight hasn't happened is simply because
boxing analyst Timothy Bradley Jr. believes Sebastian Fundora is one of the few fighters capable of giving Jaron Ennis serious problems, but Bradley stressed that his concern mainly comes from Fundora's unusual physical gifts rather than believing Fundora is technically better. Fundora's huge reach, high punch output power, and ability to control distance can make it extremely difficult for opponents to close the gap and create their own offense.
Good. And I only say that because of his attributes, not because of his boxing skills. It's because of his attributes. That's why this guy has, and it's Sebastian Fundora. You guys know who he is. He's a southpaw too, right? He has range. He has volume. He has punching power as well. Okay. He knows how to keep his distance. He's difficult. I know he's been knocked out before. I know that. But you got to go through a dang rain of fire to be able to get close to this guy if he don't want you to get close. Now, everybody's saying, well, Thurman was supposed to get whooped. I told y'all Thurman was going to get whooped too. Y'all heard it here too. Y'all said he going to get whooped. Okay? But I was studying the film the other day, and Boots has the style that I believe that can give him fit.
That's all for today's video. Make sure you subscribe to Boxing Hub for more boxing news updates and the latest stories about the biggest fights.